The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Welcome to Getting to Know You. My name is Joe Nash. Today we're talking to Aine Leader-Nagy. She is the, what is your title?
I'm actually the Public Relations and Marketing Associate.
Sorry, Public Relations and Marketing for the Albany Institute. And we're going to be talking about some current exhibits and maybe some upcoming ones. So welcome back.
Thank you, Joe.
And we're going to be mainly talking about it goes through February 12th. It's called Icons of Rock. It's photographs by Patrick Harbron. Is that how you say his name?
Yes.
And we're going to finish up with the Capital District and 50 Objects. I know a book has come out, and we also have the lookalikes. If you know your kids' books, you know what that is. Now, Anya, one good thing about your place down there is these exhibits last a long time. So this has been up and running since November 5th, Icons of Rock. How did you guys get this, and tell us who the photographer is?
Sure. Well, we actually started talking about putting this exhibition on at the beginning of last year. Patrick Harbron had actually done an interview with Joe Donahue on WAMC.
Oh, okay.
And one of our curators was listening, and he was just talking about a smaller exhibition he had done with another gallery. And so she called him up and said, what kind of stuff do you have? Would you be interested in having something at the Albany Institute? He is based out of Hudson Valley area. He works also in New York City. He's originally from Toronto. And he's a photographer who has worked with rock and roll musicians from the 1970s and 80s primarily. He started doing concert photography and was eventually hired to do that by news publications and things like that. And then he also does studio shots. So some of his album covers are also on view in the show. And actually, what was funny was we were doing a walkthrough with some of the local media about the exhibition before it opened, and one of the album covers was Metal for Breakfast, and the local Albany-based band Blotto is actually on that album.
Oh, okay.
And so they were talking because Greg from Blotto was
Sarge
with
there?
us.
Okay, Sarge Blotto was there. All right, very good. So I went to his website. There are really amazing photographs. I'll just give out some of the people. Deborah Harry, The Who. There's some individual shots of Keith Moon playing drums, Bruce Springsteen, Eddie Van Halen, Kiss, Queen, Prince. It is sort of the rock and roll pantheon. Ray Charles, B.B. King. So how many, you got about 75 down there?
We have about 75 images. They're oversized. They're large prints that he printed specifically for this show based on his archive of photography. He also had materials that he used throughout his career. For instance, there's a sheet of negatives that he did with the band Kiss, and Gene Simmons went and marked up some of the frames with a $sign to indicate to Patrick which ones he thought would make him some money.
Oh, I
like
see.
These were the good shots.
And he actually started, I think, I was reading about the photographer, he started doing all this in the 70s, right? Okay.
Yes. He kind of happened on it. He was very interested in this type of music. He was a drummer in a band, and then one of his friends gave him a camera, and he ended up going to a concert, and then he started doing this. And what's interesting is that we have a lot of photography now that we see all the time with social media and things like that, but these shots that he's taking are with film, no lighting. He's working in between the different rowdiness levels of a crowd at a concert. So
these photographs are before the digital, everyone holding up.
Yep. So he would go and shoot a concert and not know what he got until afterwards.
I should tell people, if you go to his website, Patrick Harbron. You can see a lot of his work, or go to the Institute. And as we're talking, we'll be seeing some of these. Now, do you know, some of these he actually says in his little note here, he's never been published or exhibited before. Do you know?
Right.
You know which ones or which ones?
I can't tell you offhand. I do know that there were some that he found even while he was preparing for this show.
That he didn't even,
that
forgot all about.
He'd forgotten about.
Okay.
And so he has done, some of these images were done for the band, some of them were done for the promotional purposes, or like I said, some of his studio work for album covers. There's, for instance, he did a shoot with Bon Jovi, and so that is on display as well.
All right, so
but
it isn't
some
just,
of them are, there's a mixture.
I see, and
of
he
those.
works for, he did work for magazines and publicity, and he actually worked for some of the bands too. And do you have
He did work for them for
Okay.
their photography.
And you also mentioned you have some supplemental items from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to go along with this. What are some of the things you have?
We have bits of a guitar that was smashed by Pete Townsend. We also
Only how much is left? Only,
they're little. I don't know if a person who wouldn't know it was a guitar would know that it was a guitar, but those pieces are on display. We also have a.
has it been authenticated that?
Yeah.
Pete
Oh,
Townsend-
everything came straight from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we have in Eric Clapton's guitar, Blackie, which he recorded one of his famous songs on, I think, Smoky Mountain. But we have several of the guitars on view. There are cymbals as well from one of the drum kits for a band that was influential. I believe it's Rush, actually.
Okay.
He really followed Rush. And those came directly from Rush, not from the Hall of Fame. So he's had an established relationship with these artists. He also, he made his dream list of what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame might be able to send, and they were able to accommodate with certain things that weren't on view but were available in their collection.
Oh, you guys got to sort of pick?
We sent a wish list to them,
okay.
and they came back with, oh yes, well we have this, and we can send you this, and we can send you this.
Okay, so this has been up and running since November 5th. It goes through February 12th. So what has been we're filming this in the beginning of December. What has been the response so far for the first month?
People have really enjoyed looking at all the photographs. I mean, you have it interests photographers, people who are just interested in the art of photography, but you also have a nostalgic component with people who remember following the different bands. Some of his photographs really capture pivotal moments in rock and roll history. Like he has he photographed the last concert that Pete Moon was at, Keith Moon played drums for The Who before. I think he did one more concert or something, some kind of recorded material, but he got the last one, and that's significant for Who fans to see that.
Well, it's seen on his website. I don't know if it's in the show because I haven't seen it yet, but I see he had some Elvis Costello and Blondie, Deborah Harry, right at the late 70s at the pinnacle, right at the pinnacle when they first started.
A lot of the images are from not only just these big concert halls, but they're from clubs.
Oh, okay.
And so they are much more intimate than you expect. And he took a lot of photographs while he was at each event, but the ones he selected have an intensity that you can really see that people, I think, respond to. It's a show about people, and people usually have a positive reaction.
Now, you've been having several events at the Institute, and you're going to have some at the Madison Theater and all that.
Yes, we're actually coming up. We're doing they're calling it a rock doc series.
So you've had, some of them have already been, are over, so we won't mention those, but
upcoming, coming up.
Upcoming, and Patrick himself is going to introduce some of the films. You're going to have films at the Madison Theater, rock and roll films, January 5th at 7 p.m., Rush, Beyond the Lighted Stage, and Patrick will introduce the film.
I believe he's introducing that one, and he may introduce one more.
And January 12th, also at the Madison, 7 p.m., this is Spinal Tap. You have here that Patrick will be introducing that one. January 19th, 7 p.m., these are all at the Madison Theater. Gimme Shelter. an introduction by Andrew Lee. That's the Rolling Stones movie, right? January 26th at 7 p.m., a band called Death from 2012. I'm not sure I know that band. I'm more like his earlier ones. And that's a movie. These are all at the Madison Theater. There's all the information on the website. You're also having, what are some of the other events you're having? An open mic night? And
we're doing some family programs. One of the first Friday events that we're doing is an open mic night, encouraging people to come and sing and share their music with us. I'm not sure who that might appeal to in terms of, I think it will appeal to a variety of ages, you know, established music venue performers as well as closeted, I am performing in my house
open
mic night thing. And then we also have the dean from the Fashion Institute of Technology, the Fashion Institute, coming and to give a talk about rock and roll fashion at the end of January, which is exciting. And then Andrew Lee is a professor, and he is going to be talking about the history of the sound of rock and roll.
Well, that I just found it on here. That's January 29th at 2 p.m., The Sound of Style. She's the dean of the School of the Fashion Institute of Technology. Going to be talking about what you just said. They're going to be covering the glam rock stuff.
She's looking at all the different, because of the strong ties of rock and roll to fashion. She's looking at some of those.
Good.
But one of the family programs that's exciting, and we have a part of it already on view, is we're doing a workshop about percussion, and there's going to be a person, Brian Mellick. He is a percussionist, and he's going to be doing a hands-on workshop for families on Sunday, January 22nd, looking specifically at percussion instruments. And he has actually loaned us a Lego drum kit that he has put together. It is on view right now at the museum, and it will be through the rest of the show. And it's right in one of the public areas of the museum, and people have been fascinated to see a drum kit made out of Legos.
All made out of Legos.
So it has the symbols, and the symbols aren't made of Legos and things, but the drum barrel is made out of Legos, and there are several. It's really interesting.
So this is going to be Sunday, January 22nd, 1 p.m. So it sounds like it'll be a participation by everyone.
Yes, it should be fun. There is a limited space, so we might need to do some registration for that, but information will be on the website for sure.
And then I noticed, to back up just a little, on January 8th, which is Sunday at 2 p.m., Patrick Harbron, the photographer we've been talking about, is going to be down there.
He's going to do a presentation about his work, his career, and talking about the images in the exhibition. And he's very good at telling stories, because every photograph has a story. That's actually one of the strengths of this exhibit. His captions aren't just the Who 1978. You know, it is his story about what this image is, why it's interesting.
And I noticed I haven't seen all 75 pictures, but he says on his little note here, he sort of concentrates a little bit on Bruce Springsteen, Kiss, and the Who. Is there any reason, do you know why are they highlighted, kind of, those three? They
are highlighted, yes. They're highlighted because of how they have worked in his career, how he has followed them throughout his career and their career, and those happen to be some of the bands that he's had a stronger relationship with.
I know on Patrick's website he does have this box set or something of Bruce Springsteen from.
Yes, he has a specific night at a concert, and it's photographs from that night, and it was a very limited run, and he has created a box set. I don't even, maybe there's 150 total, like it's something very small, and so it's available as well.
Now if people want to see the exhibit, you do have some free admission days. You want to mention some of those? People.
Yeah, we do free admission every Thursday night from 5 to 8 p.m. And the only time that wouldn't apply is if it was a holiday or something. We're closed, but we're going to be offering those still. We also participate in First Friday and do free admission nights for First Friday. So those upcoming First Fridays in January and February, One is the open mic night, so there's an
Okay.
added event as well to
Yeah.
attend. And then in February, there's actually a family focused rock and roll themed party on that first Friday, and they're going to do a paper mache guitar piñata in the spirit of Pete Townsend
Okay, they're going to smash it. Okay, very good.
and other things that night.
And there's also free admission on Monday, January 16th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yep.
All right.
And that will be that's something that we do as a sponsorship through M&T Bank. The federal holidays, including Martin Luther King Jr. Day and President's Day.
Okay, good. So I'll be on the screen here. The Albany Institute's website has all the information, all the events, and all this. So let's go from rock and roll to the Capital District. You recently concluded a very popular Capital District and 50 objects. We talked about it, I think, either last year, I think.
Yes.
And I got to be careful. There's a new book coming out based on the exhibit. You can still go to the museum's website and take a virtual. The exhibit's online. Is that what
So
it's a
once
virtual tour. And what am I?
Right.
How do I?
So
what am I
once the exhibition had such a great response, we knew that it needed to live beyond its exhibition dates. So this is one of the ways that it lives. The other way is an online exhibition. We now have, this is our second online exhibition that we have. If you go onto our website and hit the exhibition section, there is an online exhibition section you can go to. The first one you'll see is a Hudson River School themed online exhibition that debuted last year. And then you'll also see New York's Capital Region in 50 objects.
And
what it does is it takes the content related to the exhibition label and the idea of that object representing a theme within the Capital District's history and pairs it with the object's picture as well as the ancillary pictures that helped round out that story.
Yes. Well, I should say it isn't just a picture of the 50 objects. You have the ancillary stuff. Plus, you have a lot of text explaining, like Hofmann's,
Lots of text.
like Hofmann's Playland, Freihofer's, Henry Johnson, et cetera.
And those themes are built on the side, so you can kind of jump and navigate as you are interested in based on the topics.
And then the book will be out in December.
Yes.
You can buy it down at the Institute, the New York's Capital Region in 50 objects. I'm sure this is going to be a big...
We've already had, it has not yet appeared on our door, but we have gotten lots of requests for it.
Oh, okay. And I noticed you were telling me before we started, you have developed a thing for teachers on the 50 objects for history?
We have a teacher curriculum packet that is available, and it debuted this fall. It actually has already won awards from history organizations, and it looks at the Capital Region 50 objects and recognizes that there are several main themes that coincide with New York State curriculum standards for social studies and history, and pulls out those potential lessons, creates worksheets, creates ideas about how you can discuss certain topics using objects. And also, that curriculum pairs very well with the online exhibition. Teachers are able to use both. And the curriculum component, we have a packet that the teachers actually get. So if they're going through and they're talking about different things like industry or war or things like that, they can go and have a lesson plan already created for them because they are really strapped for time and resources in the classroom, and so this is an aid.
Have you? Now, is that already out there?
Teachers are already receiving
them?
that. We are currently training teachers to use that. We are holding workshops for teachers, and although you would expect an interest in the Capital Region teachers to use it, we actually have been seeing a response from teachers that are south of us and west of us who are interested in also using the curriculum.
Okay, very good. Now, another exhibit that goes through the look-alike books, hopefully I won't disturb this. These books are very popular in the library. There's more than one. They're called look-alikes. The more you look, the more you see. Now that looks like a train on there, but when you actually look really close, they're made up of all these little objects. So when does this go till? January 29th, is that?
The end of January. We have the...
They're like dioramas, right? Is that what-
Yes.
But you have to look close because
You do.
it's not really a storefront. It's, well, you can explain what they are.
So Joan Steiner was an artist that was based out of Claverick, and she did the illustrations for these books. The way that she did that was she created dioramas and then photographed the dioramas for these books. And we have 10 of the original dioramas currently on view in the museum. They're actually scattered around the museum.
Oh, they're not one.
So there's
okay.
one that's in the gift shop. There's one in with we have a chair exhibition up right now. We have one in our sculpture court. Those kinds of things. In the Hudson River School galleries, we have some.
I mean, it's really fascinating. You probably won't be able to see this, but this is a hotel lobby. It's sort of Art Deco-y, if you just look at it, Art Deco. But then when you look,
If you look closely,
you look close. It's like pens. You got a chess man on the thing, and
the couch is made out of gloves.
the couch. You're right. A pair of gloves is a couch. And so you were telling me that even though we have these books in our children's room, and you would think that for kids that you're saying you're finding everyone is fascinated.
Everyone is going over to the dioramas and looking at them. We had a scavenger hunt during our free Thanksgiving weekend, and everyone was just peering in and trying to find all the different items. And the more you look, the more you really do see in terms of there's a interior of a house, and you think that there's a table, and you're like, oh, the table top is made out of a light switch plate. Okay, I can see that. And the legs are cinnamon sticks. Okay, but now you also notice that the rug is one of the artist palettes.
Okay.
And I wasn't paying attention.
I know, you got to really...
And the lamp is made out of nail polish.
Okay. And, well, there's several of these, I think, in our library. I think we must have 7 or 8 of these. I think there's a lot.
There are. She did Around the World. She did these more local ones. She did holiday editions.
And you were saying this artist is sort of in...
She was based out of Claverick,
All right,
New
that's
York.
kind of our area, I would say. All right. So I notice from your website 3 very large exhibits are ending December 31st. Can you tell us anything about what's upcoming in 2017 for the
Sure.
Institute besides, well, the rock goes till February 12th.
12th.
Lookalikes go to January 29th. What else? What's coming up next year?
At the beginning of next year, you'll still be able to see rock and roll, and then we're opening up a photography show. We're looking at the photographs in our collection. It's called Captured Moments, 170 Years of Photography from the Albany Institute, and that will open at the end of January, and that looks at different photography mediums, from daguerreotypes to...
from your whole collection?
Yes, and so we have a really rich photography collection, both kind of the moment, like people in downtown Albany just going about their daily business, to artists who are specifically doing photography for an artistic message.
Okay, so how many?
And so they are still picking out how many photographs you'll be seeing, but it's extensive. It will be a very large exhibition.
Well, I know one of the times that you guys were here in the past, don't you have something like hundreds of thousands of items? And
Yes. We have 35,000 objects in our collection and over 1 million documents in our library.
Right.
I believe some of the photographs are really library collection materials.
And so you're culling these
culling
photos from
and people are always
tens of thousands of...
Yeah, people are always fascinated with what we have. I know that we have in our collection some of the earliest photography
in America?
Of Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
Like it's some of the earliest photographs of Tokyo that exist are in our collection.
Oh,
because Robert Prime was an ambassador from Albany to Tokyo, to Japan during the 1860s, and so his personal collection includes some of the earliest photographs of Tokyo. So I'm not sure if that has made it into the collection. I haven't talked to the curators that closely, but that's how rich some of our resources are.
Okay, so that's a photography exhibit. What else is coming up for next year?
We also have, Alexander Hamilton has been extended from the end of this year through the beginning of March. People are very excited about Alexander Hamilton, and so we're going to continue to have that.
Oh, because of the play and everything. And the musical.
Lots of interest. So we're going to have that up. And then we're also going to be kind of giving a behind-the-scenes exhibit, a taste of the behind-the-scenes. Every year, the museum, first and foremost, is a collecting organization to try to preserve materials for the future, to preserve objects and items for the future. And so each year we acquire new objects into the collection. And so we're going to be doing a small exhibition that looks at what we've collected recently, what has been
Recently meaning?
within the last year.
Oh, okay.
Some because we're actively broadening our collection. We're actively getting more items donated to us, and not everything that is kind of offered to us for a donation is accepted into the collection, but we do make a point of collecting and growing our collection. And so this will show some of those recent acquisitions.
Only in the last year?
I believe it'll be in the last year. We've had some really interesting things. For instance, there was a courtroom artist who donated her collection of courtroom sketches. And some of those sketches relate to some high-profile cases that were tried in the area. That's an unexpected thing.
Well,
For us to have.
From before the days when cameras were allowed in the, I think that would be probably.
It's very interesting.
Really?
And people, it's, without having a specific exhibition where we're able to pull this out, that would get into the collection and might be.
Down the road.
Used, but now to think about, okay, let's show what we've acquired in the last year.
Okay, so these are all upcoming, all right. And it's albanyinstitute.org, correct? You guys have a good website. There's all kinds of stuff on there. Upcoming events, current events, and have I forgotten anything?
It's a great way to just kind of browse through our collection materials. One of the fun parts about the online exhibition for 50 objects is it shows that you can go into our own collection section of our website, and we have hundreds and hundreds of images related to the items that are in our collection. And so it's a great way to see what we have and do research. It appeals to the casual history person who's interested in that kind of stuff, to people doing research for things and are saying, do you have anything that relates to my topic of research?
I know I asked this before when you guys were here before, but is everything down in that building, or you guys have?
We do have some off-site storage.
That's why I was thinking if you have a 35
for the larger items.
Okay.
But some of our items are very small too. We have, going back to Robert Prine, we have a pretty nice Netsky collection, which are these little ornamental figurines that were used with kimonos in Japan. He collected them while he was in Japan and sent them back. And we actually, a lot of them are digitized, and you can see them on our website. But they're very little; they don't take up too much space.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming once again. It's always interesting what you guys have going on down there. There's all these exhibits up and running: 50 objects, rock icons, the lookalikes. You can either pay, there's some free admission, albanyinstitute.org, it'll be on the screen.
Yes.
So thank you, Aine, for coming once again.
Joe. Of course, thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Getting to Know You.